5 massive mistakes that brand new agents often will go ahead and make.
Yeah.
Right? So we've been brokers now for, I don't know, 20 years, something like that. And we see a lot of different things where people become successful or where they don't. And so we're going to real quick hit 5 items that you need to work on as either a new agent or maybe, if you are not doing these as a current agent, that it would help you out, right?
Yeah.
So just kind of like soak these in. So item number 1, think real estate school is actual training. That's a big mistake. Okay? So real estate, when you're getting licensed, that's not training. You have to take the test, right, and pass the state test. And I'm of the firm belief that the things, they have to have a barrier to entry. And you have to learn certain items.
And they're just the basics. It's like,
But it's not
true
training. It's a portion of it, but don't think that just because you went through it that all of a sudden you are like ready to be an agent.
it's more of an introduction to to the whole real estate world, I would say. Right?
And they cover a bunch of topics, and all of a sudden you're like, a lot of what you learn is not utilized on a day-to-day basis.
I mean, once you get your license, doesn't mean, oh, I went through all this, I'm trained, I'm ready to go. Right?
Correct.
That's
So
what you're
don't
saying.
think that
Yeah.
real estate school is actually training to be a realtor. Okay? Because I don't believe that it is. So that's the first kind of mistake. The second one is not realizing all the skills that you actually need as a realtor. And it's most specifically to be a successful realtor. That would be kind of one of those things. So the first thing is we're very different people. And I guess we would operate like together as one, right? So if you just think about that, you think about the things that I do on a daily basis, and then you think about the things that you do on a daily basis, and they're decidedly different, right? We meet in the middle on certain items, and our knowledge overlaps, but we've really started to specialize to be able to do what we've done. So talk about some of the skills that you need on with what you do, and then I'll talk about me. But like, just imagine to be truly successful, and we have a lot to still learn.
I would say the number one thing is you have to be disciplined, right?
Okay.
And that is a skill. I mean, you can't just say, I mean, you have to have the skill of being able to be disciplined, to get up in the morning, to have a plan, and, to
So
run
what
a
time?
business.
What time do you typically wake up? 5. Okay. So like that's a.m.
It doesn't mean you have to wake up at 5 to be successful. It just means that that's what works for me. It's my plan. I get up. I mean, you need to get up.
No, that's a
You
really
need to get up
simple
and
thing.
work.
That's fine.
There's a ton of things that you can get done between the hours of 5 and 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Amazing. Even if, I think multitasking is another skill, but I like when I'm getting ready in the morning, I have my phone and I'm doing, a couple of things, and, I carve out some time for social media, and, you just have to have a plan. So, and stick with it. So.
All right. Drop.
Discipline.
All right, cool. Give me a thumbs up or a like if you think Sean is on the right track here and you need to be disciplined and that you definitely want to, stay on topic, right? And then what else? So you're truly likable. People like you and trust you. And I believe you truly care. And if I was to I was talking about this from a branding perspective. And they're like, what makes Acquisto Real Estate different? And I was just kind of talking through it, and it was like, no, I think we really care.
Yeah, we truly care.
And we want that to show.
I think people look at skills as like, can I build this? Am I good with my hands? Or can I do this or that? That's not necessarily what a skill is, right? It's, you have to care, you have to be honest, you have to have all those core values, you have to listen. I think listening is, one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people don't make. How many calls do we get here that, I told my agent this is what I wanted, and she keeps sending me things that are not what I want, right? Or he or she sends me things that
Mostly he, because
aren't
men
what I
don't
want.
listen.
Yeah. So,
Give a thumbs up if you think men don't listen as well as women. All right. So,
2.
all right. So that was a bunch of items that, you know, that Shauna kind of does. Now, in addition, those are like kind of soft skills there.
They
In
are.
addition to that, you really totally know the contract. You're a great negotiator.
Oh, gosh,
You
yes.
truly know the properties. You know the local market, all of those things from a real estate perspective, but we're marking that as a given. Then on the whole other side, the things that I do are like marketing, lead generation, like like all of that stuff, the technology that goes into it, the database management, you know, then the systems and the process and the way stuff, and then the video work and the photos. And so there's a whole bunch of things that I have that are a different skill set than kind of like what you do.
which is,
But to be successful, you have to have all of them and be the best at what you do. And we weren't good at all of the things to start with. You don't just like wake up and you're like, So you just have to start and do it, which goes to the next one. So the next item number 3, is you have to just do it. Right? So that's kind of like
think you
Nike's
went
slogan.
to-
I understand. So what I was trying to do is you just have to do it. And Sean is saying you have to wake up. So
Yeah.
that starts with, like she alluded to, 5 a.m. is kind of what you have to do. And, right, just do it. You can read all about successful people. And one of the biggest traits that they'll have in common is they do wake up early. And it kind of gives them a good way to start the day. They can organize it. And they typically have a lot to do. They typically like what they do and have a passion.
you like
And that's
what you
what they
do,
want to do.
and I think that's also a time that you have kind of, it's your time, you know, before
Okay.
the phone's ringing and all this stuff, you're in control, it's your time. And I think that's really important as, you know, as a new agent or a veteran agent, that you carve out that time that's just, you know, your time to reflect on things and reset for the day.
And more about just doing it. I'm of a belief that I like stuff to go out from our company that's a 95 or a 97. I believe, and it's difficult. I try to explain that to others that, like, I'm fine with 95 or 97, right? Like, if it's super, super important, let's get 100 on it, right, with our client. But if it's like marketing related, if we're sending it out, I'm okay with minor imperfections. Perfection and getting 100% on something is difficult to do. It takes too
is.
long, takes too many revisions, and then you stand in a place and you don't get anything done, right? So what I vote for is just doing it, and I set a specific number so people realize what good looks like. And I'm not setting the bar for good like low, 95 or 97, and that's what I'm looking for. But I want a lot of them, right? So to put 100 out, you might only be able to do 2 things a day. But 95 or 97, you might be able to do 5, 10
But
items.
why is that? Because you're a perfectionist, you're second guessing yourself, and you're, you know, and you're wasting a lot of time. And, you know, a lot of us end up going back. They always say, follow your gut, right? And it's really, truly a thing. And this is something that Mike has really worked on me with for a long time, because I want everything perfect. And, you know, I feel like I'm going to screw this up and I have to, you know, go back to the drawing board. And he's like, just do it. So it's something I've learned, and it really, really, really helps. And I know a lot of us like to second guess, and, you know, when we're working for a client, and same thing, but just focus, just do it, and then move on.
Yep. And so give a comment if you've seen anything that you have done in your career that you really wish you would have just taken action on earlier, because those things happen all the time, right? And so there's just been so many things, and it's
Not
been
miss an opportunity.
it's been
right?
the biggest things that I've made a call when it's like those odds are pretty long, and I'm working on a deal right now that could be a career defining deal that I don't know if I should have even made that phone call. Like, the odds were so long and high against it that it's like, why are you wasting your time on that? And so sometimes you just have to do that, right?
You need to just, yes. I mean, we could talk about this forever, but
Just do it.
You could miss an opportunity for sure.
Okay.
do it.
And then we have the next one. Item number 4 is not starting an Excel list to start with of all the people you know with all their contact information. Okay. And the reason I say Excel is because it's a clear, easy way to put all the information in. So you have like name, address, phone number, email address, like all the stuff, notes, relationship, all that. And you have this list. And it's a great place to start. In your mind, you can organize it that way. And then from there, that has to get into the database and things have to start to happen. But you have to have an initial list. And you have to continually refer back to it. And you have to be putting more people in all the time. Those are like what people call leads, right? And Shauna doesn't like it, and there's no such thing as and bad leads and like what is, right? So, but you still have to have people. There's going to be someone that purchases that home. If not, then you don't have a
more of
client.
laying the foundation. You
Yeah.
know, I think a lot of people do that, and it's like you're not selling Amway. You're not going, you know, hey mom, do you want to buy Amway? You know, this is a home that someone's purchasing. So
But-
yes, you need to put people in your pipeline and in your database, but you're right. It's not just about
And you,
What do you
you
do?
shouldn't stop doing that.
no
Because
no.
your pipeline, you talk about that, it's like, hey, what you're doing today is going to affect like your income. It depends on your market, but like 90 days from now, right? There's things you have to be doing.
Yeah.
And what you're doing now is super, super key to your future success, like a business quarter away. And you can't then, once you can't only focus on this and not be good at this. So there's all these different skills that we were kind of going back to. And so I generally focus on different timelines than you do by far. And I talk about it all the time that, hey, Shauna, when things come up and you need them addressed, just know that it takes time to address them and perfect our system and make it better. And if you have an issue, I can fix it, but I can't fix it for this listing. I can hopefully fix it for the next one and from here forward. But like making instantaneous changes are really difficult. So give me a thumbs up if you think Mike's make changes fast enough. I think we do. Like we're pretty quick at that type of stuff, but like it's actually not super easy to do.
Well, you listen.
There's a lot.
You listen. It's a good skill.
I do listen and
Listen
eventually
and
get to it.
implement. Yeah.
And then last but not least, we talk about people saying that they've done 0 deals as an agent.
And I think we've all talked about that in our agent meetings. You know, if you're new.
And if you're new, then when you do that, what I want to do is if you don't like the question, then change the topic. And right, so it's a little bit different. So maybe you won't even hear that question if you approach it differently. So might I make a suggestion for you? The newer agent, to show that you're putting in the effort, right? Because then it won't come up like how many deals have you done if you're showing you're putting in the effort. And it's handled totally different. So for example, before you have your first meeting, if you're going to be meeting them at a property that's, $500,000 in a single family neighborhood, and whatever that is. So go preview that home and fully understand it.
Right.
Talk with a listing agent, do that stuff if you're representing this buyer client. And then from there, look at one that's more expensive and actually like take a selfie in front of it, take a picture of like some obstacle or something that's interesting that you see in person that you wouldn't otherwise have seen. Now you gain knowledge because knowledge is powerful. Then look at one that's on the other end. So if you're looking higher, then look lower. One that's maybe further away or closer if like that's an item like proximity or distance, right? Now you've done that. Then go back to who you are and who your client is. So first think about your client. And if the client has like children and they would be concerned about where's the elementary school, where's the middle school, high school, whatever that is, go view them. Take a picture, drive the exact from that house to see. So you can answer that question. Take a selfie of you in front of the school, kind of do a little bit of research. Now you've done that. When that question comes up, you'll know the answer. And then do something that's true to you. Because you talked about them first, and then you want to share a piece of you. So if your deal is, like maybe you are a hiker, a biker, a runner, a whatever it is, a swimmer, like pick what your thing is. And then do that within that community of where you're going to be showing that property. So maybe you go to like the trailhead that starts from there, and you can show off like, hey, I went over here and I took a walk here and I saw that they had this. And you share something about you interacting there. Now, what that does is it shows that you care, which is very important. And then it shows that you're knowledgeable. So then what happens is when you're showing the client the property, you can be like, oh, yes, perfect. Here's all the information on it. And thank you. That's a great comment. And this home is maybe too small for you. So I did look at one a little bit bigger to make sure we were ready. And here's what that is. And let me pull up. Here's me in front of the house, right? And then here's this. But what you don't realize is blank. And then you can show them like, oh, look at this. So this is an obstacle that wasn't shown online. They didn't take a picture of the power lines or whatever that is. You know what I mean? Just an example. So I think if you change the topic totally.
Sometimes it's hard to change the
Then that
topic.
question-
You have to go in with confidence and know what you're talking about. And, you know, you don't want to be blindsided in there. That's what I say all the time is you don't want to go in there and they say, what'd this house sell for next door? Or they tell you this home sold for this next door and you're like, I don't know. Then, whether you're a veteran or you're a new agent, then all of a sudden you don't look qualified for the job, right?
And then the question comes up.
Then the question comes up. But, you know, I laugh at Hannah because early when she started, she went to an appointment and I think they asked her that. And she says, oh, yes, and I have nothing going on, so I can spend all my time, you know, working for you. And, you know, she got the deal and she was honest. She was true to herself and she knew what she was talking about and it worked out, you know. So she kind of threw in a little bit of everything in there. But I thought that was, you know, and, you know, we always talk about you can rely on us as well. Say, hey, yes, I'm new with Acquisto Real Estate, but we've done as a company, this is what we've done, this is what we stand for, this is what you're getting. So you're not just getting me, you're getting, you know, the entire brokerage. So, you know, if you say, oh, I'm new, I've never done that before, I'm not going to feel comfortable with that person. If you go to the dentist, he's like, this is my first crown I've ever done, I can't wait. Are you excited about that? No. So,
but
don't
if you
say
show...
that.
If you show effort,
Yes.
and if you show local market knowledge, that's going to compensate for experience.
Yes.
Because the question of have you done any deals before, like whatever, they're asking an experience question. The experience question doesn't get asked when you demonstrate local knowledge, like I tried to describe. So I went into it with detail, but I'm showing what compensates for it, and I like dove to a specific spot and gave like clear examples.
Yeah, and one more thing on that. That is a question to me. Is someone, I don't know, I've gone in many times where the you know, you're in a listing appointment and they have this list of questions for you that they printed off, you know, off the internet.
Okay.
That's one of them. So to me, that's just someone, you know, that's their mind focused because they've researched what should I ask, you know, 10 things I should ask an agent before hiring them. Well, be ready, you know, look those up yourself and be able to overcome them. But don't be the same, be different and come up and be true to yourself and come up with things that, you know, I don't know.
So
show
you're sitting here today, and there was a day one for everybody, right? And the first deal, and ours came from knocking on a door and doing those things. I think it was like 116 degrees out, and we were walking around, and it's like after work and all that stuff, and it's like a knock on the door, and then the deal takes place after that. And it was through hard work and effort and stuff, and that's where it started. So that was deal one, and then you
We've
go
all
from
had
there.
deal one.
We all have. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that helps you out. And you can learn from it in a bunch of different ways.
Yep.
So, if you're an experienced agent, just think back through some of these things. Be like, wow, it's been a long time since I blank.
Yeah.
And
Reset.
then go ahead and do that.
to reset.
You know, resetting some of those things and refreshing is always good, but just thinking, right? So, a lot was covered, and implement it wherever you are in your career in the best way possible, because you can always continue to learn. So I think that's going to go ahead and close that topic. Let's